One thing that I'm really passionate about is the operating systems that I use, right? So I noticed in 2014 that you guys started including Mac compatibility. And I wanted to know what drove you to add Mac compatibility after so many years of just being on Windows, and is Linux a possibility in the future?
So Mac, Apple. Oh, I cannot tell you as a developer how thrilled I was when Apple decided to suddenly deprecate all the 32-bit applications. What a joyful day that was.
That's the first we've ever heard of this.
I'm sensing some sarcasm here.
Yeah. Why Mac was because we knew that there were a lot of people who were playing on a Mac and wanted to be able to do it natively. And to some respect, it was sales driven to say that we'd been aware of what the market share was. And when I say sales driven, it's less the belief that if we develop the game for Mac, we can get more money coming in. It was more the sense that the product has continued to perform, the community has continued to buy it. The next thing we were going to put our resources into was Mac compatibility native. Because we recognize that there is a good number of people who play on the Mac. It was never our desire to exclude them. We simply knew the limits of our resources. And if you want an example of where we still haven't gotten everything we wanted, and this one we may never get, is we're not double byte. Will never be translated into any of those Asian languages that require double byte characters, because the underlying architecture, the work involved to transform it would have been Herculean, and there was no way we were doing it. So yeah, it was a belief that the Apple-based player community was significant enough, and the work involved to make it work was not too rough, that we could do it. We did. It was out there. And then Catalina. And the only solution we've seen in the initial couple of months, I started sort of berating ourselves, like, come on, why don't we respond to this thing? And then I started seeing how many other developers, 8, 10, 18 months after, still don't have a really good solution for it. And I realized, okay, I can't be that hard on us. We're not the only ones who got caught into this. What it's caused us to do is Galactic Ruler is already 64-bit and running on DirectX 11, and we already have the architecture for Supreme Ruler Next Gen on the same 64-bit and the same DirectX 11. So at this time, all things being equal and Apple not throwing us another curveball, the threshold for getting Mac version should not be that difficult to achieve. Now, to your half question thrown in there about Linux, your biggest disadvantage, or the biggest argument against getting Linux native, is the Linux community is so good at getting quality emulators. Our understanding is the game runs on the Linux emulator at about 85% of the performance that you get on a native version. It's hard to make the argument. Linux is so flexible that they sort of do most of the job for us. Sorry?
You're probably talking about wine, I think.
Yeah. And in truth, I'm speaking as somebody who's never tried it. I'm only running PC-based systems. But every time the game comes out, we hear a couple people ask Linux, and very quickly members of the community say, I got it on wine, it's running fine. So that hopefully people can understand why that keeps it a little bit lower in our priority list.